Red lips, blonde hair, beautiful seductive eyes, and flary dresses. Who comes to your mind instantly? Well, it has to be no one other than Marilyn Monroe. She has been in the news lately, from the controversy after Kim Kardashian wore her iconic dress to the Met Gala to the release of Netflix's Blonde, a biopic on Marilyn's life based on a novel of the same name. After 60 years of her death at age 36, the blonde bombshell is much of a sensation as she is a mystery. And that is what we are going to discuss today, the life and times of Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn or Norma Jean Baker was born on June 1st, 1926. When she was just 2 weeks old, her mother Gladys dropped her off at a foster home in Hawthorne, California. She was bounced around several other foster homes for the rest of her childhood. On June 19, 1942, she married the neighbor's son just after her 16th birthday. Her new husband, James Dorothy, was a 21-year-old factory worker. He supported his new relationship while Monroe dropped out of high school and worked as a housewife and later went on to take up a job at a defense factory, Radioplane Munitions. In 1944, photographer David Conover visited the Radioplane Munitions plant to shoot pictures of the war effort for Yank magazine. That's where he spotted Monroe and described her later as the photographer's dream girl. This is how her modeling career took flight. By the first months of 1946, she had already appeared on some 33 magazine covers for across the country. When her husband did not approve of her career choices, she decided to divorce him and step into the world of acting. She was born as Norma Jean Baker. So where did the name Marilyn Monroe come from? The name Marilyn Monroe was devised by Ben Leon, a studio executive Marilyn worked with. By the time Marilyn had signed her first big studio contract, she wanted to choose a stage name that would set Norma Jean apart. Marilyn suggested using Monroe, which was actually already a last name in her family. Finally, in 1956, she legally changed her name to Marilyn Monroe. In 1949, Monroe met and befriended Johnny Hyde, vice president of the William Morris Talent Agency, and landed her first influential role on the screen as a gangster's lady in The Asphalt Jungle, directed by John Huston, and as Claudia Caswell in Joseph Mankiewicz's All About Eve. Both films were released in 1950 and Monroe gained critical acclaim even in her limited roles and screen time. In 1953, Monroe starred in 3 films that arguably became her most iconic role in the public's perception, The Blonde Bombshell. By this point, Monroe and her makeup artist Alan Snyder had achieved her trademark look. It included pale skin and platinum blonde hair with dark eyebrows and deep red lipstick. Her beauty mark, a mole above the right side of her mouth, was also augmented with makeup. Marilyn married baseball star Joe DiMaggio in 1954. Once she returned to Hollywood, she settled with Fox Studios and proceeded to film another iconic movie, The 7-Year Itch. The publicity stills for this film remain some of her most popular images, including the famed subway grate shot featuring Monroe in a white chiffon dress posing as the breeze lifts her skirt. This publicity stunt also ended her marriage, as a controlling DiMaggio was infuriated by it. In 1954, Monroe moved to Manhattan to take method acting classes at the eminent Actors Studio, where she met Arthur Miller and signed a new 7-year contract with 20th Century Fox that gave her more leeway in projects. When Hugh Hefner featured her as the first Playboy centerfold, her status as a universal sex symbol was cemented. However, Monroe experienced many challenges with her fame. Close friends believe that she never got over her childhood trauma from the abuse she suffered, and many actually think her mental condition worsened due to the method acting classes she took at Manhattan's Actors Studio. Monroe ended up turning to drug and alcohol use to help her cope. After an ectopic pregnancy and miscarriage, likely due to her struggles with endometriosis, Monroe was hospitalized for a barbiturate overdose in 1957. Many could see that Monroe was struggling by the end of the 1950s, but she continued to act. Monroe was greeted with critical and commercial acclaim, earning her a Golden Globe for Best Actress in Some Like It Hot. Around this time, Monroe's health was beginning to fail, and friends would describe her appearance as unkempt. Secretly, her marriage to Miller was all but over, and her barbiturate habit was spiraling out of control. In the early morning hours of August 5, 1962, Monroe was found unresponsive in her bedroom in Los Angeles and was pronounced dead. Marilyn Monroe had been found with a lethal dose of barbiturates in her system, and the world lost one of its brightest stars at the age of only 36 years. For many people, she will always be the girl on the sidewalk grating, her skirt blowing up around her waist. And for many others, she will always be a fascinating character created by Norma Jean Baker, the little girl who dreamed of becoming a movie star.